From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News Weekend Edition.
Good evening and welcome to our Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. I'm Katie Looper. Our top story tonight. Mayor John Eberhardt this past week appointed Jim Stiers as the new fire chief for the Fairbanks Fire Department. Stiers will start his position as fire chief next month. He will be replacing former chief Warren Cummings, who retired on November 1st. Stiers served at the University Fire Department for 32 years as a firefighter, battalion chief, and interim fire chief. Mayor Eberhardt says he appointed Stiers for his significant experience in running a fire department and also for his knowledge of emergency service procedures. Currently, the Fairbanks Fire Department responds to approximately 70% of medically related incidents in the interior. The incoming fire chief says his goal is to develop a long-term strategic plan that provides more stability to the department.
My goal is to actually build a management team within the fire department itself. Build a mission and vision statement with that management team, have it approved not only by the mayor but by the city council also, to where it's the city's mission and vision statement, what they want their fire department to be. And then we'll use our core values and the vision of how we're going to get to that mission statement.
Alaska Governor Bill Walker announced the state's acquisition of TransCanada's share of the Alaska LNG project this past week. Alaska DNR has paid the termination amount of $64,590,000, and TransCanada has transferred its participation interest to the Alaska Gas Line Development Corporation. Terminating the relationship with TransCanada could increase state revenue from the project by up to $400 million annually when gas starts flowing. Roughly $68.5 million were appropriated for buyout during a special session of the state legislature held in Juneau earlier this month.
I again want to reiterate my appreciation to the legislature for their overwhelming support for taking this critical step in this process of buying out TransCanada. It's been a year now, approximately a year now, on my watch, and we are continuing to follow the direction of 138, the process that we came into, that was in place when we came in.
Alaska U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan was in Fairbanks for the Thanksgiving holiday. He said one of the main things he is thankful for is our troops, especially those serving overseas during a very American holiday. The senator also talked about the question of whether Syrian refugees should be allowed to enter the United States. Sullivan said the State Department and Department of Homeland Security need to ensure a robust verification system on the identities of all asylum seekers to ensure that we are not allowing potential terrorists into the United States.
Americans are on edge. Alaskans are on edge. We are a compassionate people, no doubt. But we have to look out for our security first. So I've been asking the Secretary of Homeland Security, senior officials at the FBI, national counterterrorism officials, what are the procedures, and can we be assured that anyone that we bring in this country is safe?
Tuesday, representatives from law enforcement agencies gathered to unveil a new anti-theft initiative in North Pole. The North Pole Police Department is working to begin deploying a Microdots system that they hope will help deter thieves from targeting homes. These microdots are tiny specks that are meant to be placed on anything from a vehicle to jewelry or even tools that interior residents deem valuable. The dots will then have a serial number to attach to each item and home, and police say they can be traced back to the rightful owners. That is something they have struggled with, according to Chief Police Steve Dutra. Many items that are recovered end up being sold at auction due to identification issues. Roughly 500,000 dots are set to be deployed in the interior, and other agencies across the state are also getting on board.
Here we look at the UCR stats, and those stats say that we have North Pole, as for the population size, has a lot of larceny, and a lot of that larceny is coming from outside the city limits. So it's not the citizens inside the city stealing from the citizens themselves, it's everybody coming in from outside.
But this one is great. I'm excited about it. The inventory aspect will not only help with theft, it will help with fires or any type of claims that involved anybody's individual items in their home.
You know, we have our share of shoplifters at our store, and I'll tell you what, if we can make this work, I'm all for it, because the more of these habitual offenders we can get off the street, the less problems for all of us. So we're definitely going to be willing to give this a shot.
When we come back, we spotlight another one of the 21 agencies that make up the United Way of the Tanana Valley. Also, North Pole's annual ice carving competition got underway today, and artists gathered to chisel their way to the top. We'll have the details. Stay with us. Welcome back. North Pole's ice carving competition was just getting started today. They're building up the park for festivities that will run through the beginning of January. Here's more in this report. Next to the Santa Claus house in North Pole, Alaska, is a unique 6-week-long ice park called Christmas in Ice. Ice sculptors have until tomorrow night to chisel and carve away at their giant block of ice.
We had really thin ice, so we didn't get to do ice harvest until just last week because of the warm weather. So we're building up the park as quickly as we can, and we're excited to have 14 competitors this time.
Most of the artists are local, but a few have flown up from the lower 48 in China. Over the next 6 weeks, the ice park will be constantly evolving with more and more Christmas-themed pieces, ice slides, a maze, and more.
It's always fun to come out and see when we're working, because people don't realize what kind of tools we use, what kind of methods we use to do this. So it's a lot of fun. You try something new, you learn something new every year, and that's what it's all about.
The park attracts thousands of local and international viewers ready to take pictures with Santa and his reindeer.
We were actually coming to see Santa over at the Santa Claus house, and my 3-year-old wanted to see the reindeer. So we stopped by and saw that they had some ice sculptures, and she's 3, and we have another on the way, so she's really excited about stopping and seeing the train.
Often, Santa will pop in and out of the park to say hi to the kids and to check on the reindeer.
Right, we have Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donder, and Blitzen. They're all here. When we get a chance to go out and spend some time right with the reindeer, it's great. Christmas in Ice is a wonderful event. It's a community event. The next week you'll be finding more slides and twirlers and the maze, and different ice sculptures are going to be made throughout the entire event. So it's going to be kind of great to see it grow, and as you grow with it.
Christmas in Ice will be hosting weekly events and competitions until January 5th. Reporting from the North Pole, this is Katie Looper. We continue with our spotlight on the 21 agencies of the United Way during the current fundraising campaign. Tonight we focus on the Red Cross. Here's Mike Schultz.
Next year, the local Red Cross in Fairbanks will celebrate their 100th birthday. Newly appointed Executive Director Lori Wilson says the United Way plays a major role in the day-to-day operations of the Red Cross.
Well, last year we received about $41,000 from the United Way between what people designated to the Red Cross and what the community fund, how much we were allocated from the community fund. And that goes directly to help people who've lost their homes. So this last year, it would have been helping people who lost their homes in home fires. It would have been helping people who were evacuated up and down the Yukon River to get supplies to them during the wildfire season. So it goes to all of that to make sure that people have what they need.
I next asked Lori, in the short time she has been there, what is she most proud of for what the Red Cross does in the community?
We have the most incredible volunteers. We have people that give time, walk away from their families if they need to help other people. Our donors are amazing because nothing that we do would be able to happen without donations. We're not a federally funded organization, so it all comes from donations. That's what makes me the most proud.
Finally, again, Lori's tenure has just been since this summer, but during that time, what does she feel is her most fulfilling moment?
The first fire that I responded to sticks in my memory, and one of the members of the family was a 5-year-old, a little girl, who just was, she didn't realize everything they'd lost, and so ended up taking them to my house because it was close by, and my family, my children, and kicking in, and their friends bringing toys over that they had pulled out from under their Christmas tree. Yeah, I think that was just because of everybody that came together during that time frame, and seeing the whole, just my first, I guess you could say.
The United Way campaign is now underway, and remember, all donations stay within the community. Mike Schultz reporting.
And Mike Fussell is coming up next with a look into local sports, and today it's all about the Nooks. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Mike Fussell here with your latest local sports action. A lot of athletes were taking the holiday weekend off, but some did still get out to play. The Lady Nanoks basketball team was eyeing the North Star Invitational Championship earlier this afternoon. Alaska met up with Northwood University at the Patty Center, coming off of 2 tournament wins. The Nooks pushed hard early on with Stephanie Thompson coming up with big defensive plays. Jaylee Mays found the basket from outside the perimeter several times as well, but it was Jordan Wilson who came out with the majority of points for Alaska in the first half. She had 13 with 4 rebounds and 2 steals. By the end of the third, Northwood U would extend their lead to 63-49, but Alaska would start biting at their heels with 4.5 minutes left, shrinking the deficit to just 4. Their momentum didn't last long enough, though, as Alaska falls to Northwood 90-78. UAF walks away from the tournament in second place with one of their best finishes since 2013. And the Nanook men's basketball team was also in action earlier today. They were on the road taking on the Dominican University of California. Alaska went into the game 4th in GNAC standings with an overall record of 4-1. The lone loss for the Nanooks came last night against Dixie State with a score of 71-58. So today they were looking for redemption. The Nooks fought out hard leading up to halftime. At the break, they were just 7 points behind at 37-30. They would start to close the gap, coming out in full force during the second half. A Brandon Davis three-pointer helped bring UAF just a point behind DU at 51-50 midway through the final frame. Alaska would fall back slightly, but Trevante Williams would grab a bucket from outside the arc with 22 seconds left in the game. That edged the Nooks back to just a point under Dominican at 70-69. They couldn't keep it up, though, and they lose 74-69. And the Alaska Nanoks hockey team was back in town last night after a multi-week road trip. UAF faced off against number 19 Michigan Tech at the Carlson Center. The KTVF sports team was there and files this report.
It was all about the energy Friday night on the ice between the Nanoks and the Huskies. Michigan Tech had it, and Alaska came out a bit quieter. MTU grabbed goals in both the first and second periods, the latter off of a power play thanks to Husky Tyler Heinonen. The Nanoks offense found limited opportunities and was ultimately outshot 31-16 as the game clock ticked down to 0. Shutting down that production is something Michigan Tech defensemen knew they needed to do.
I mean, we know that they're all offense and they're a great team. They work the puck really well. We wanted to really focus on our defensive play tonight. Thought we blocked some crucial shots tonight. I think we got to stay on the ice a little bit more, a little too many penalties, but I think it's going to be a good game tomorrow.
In the third period, Malcolm Gold would extend the Husky lead to 3-0 at about 9 minutes into play. Chad Staley would answer back for Alaska with his first career goal, but it was not enough to keep pace with Michigan Tech. They scored one more with around 2 minutes left to play and skate away from the final frame with a 4-1 victory. Alaska head coach Dallas Ferguson says he anticipated that team energy might be on low supply.
It was probably a concern of mine coming into the weekend. Just tonight primarily is just the energy level. Sometimes after that 2-week trip, I've been on enough of them that sometimes you wonder what the energy is going to be like just getting acclimated to being home. So I think that was something that we fought most of the night, and they played a good game. Michigan Tech played fast and they moved the puck, and they never really give us an opportunity to jump back into it until maybe close to the end of the third. So give them credit.
And that's something Nanook Nolan Huntsman says was realized on the ice.
The energy level was obviously a little low tonight. I think we struggled to keep pucks going down low. I think they broke plays up way too easily. We were a little too soft tonight. And I think, but I mean, they did a good job down low too. I mean, they didn't give us a whole lot. You'd have the puck behind the net, below goal line, and there'd be 2-3 guys on you right away. And yeah, I mean, we didn't generate a lot, and they didn't. I mean, sometimes they didn't give us a lot.
Alaska drops to 4-7-2 after the Friday night loss to number 19 Michigan Tech.
All right, and that about brings us to the buzzer for sports tonight. Katie Looper has your full weather forecast coming up next. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you next weekend.
Welcome back to our Saturday edition, and welcome back, Mike. So, how was your Thanksgiving?
Great, yeah, it's great to finally be back here. But I got to take some time off. Went back to Ohio. It was almost 60 degrees there, so that felt good. Are we gonna be seeing anything like that anytime soon?
Jealous of those temperatures? I gotta say, not quite. We won't make it, but hopefully in a couple months.
Yeah, really.
All right, well, let's take a look at the almanac for today. Well, we gotta go one more. There we go. Recent high 25, recent low 7, record high 42 in 1976, record low 50 below in 1927. You can't say that for many places. All right, sun rose 10:10 this morning, sunset 3:09 this afternoon. Our daylight equals 4 hours and 59 minutes, just around 5 hours. And for our around the state today, rain showers in Juneau around 40, partly sunny skies in Ketchikan 44. Anchorage is cloudy with rain at 35. Cloudy skies in Kodiak as well at 39, same with Cold Bay, 32 degrees. Up there in Barrow, cloudy skies for them around 3 degrees, and Fairbanks is checking in at 18. All right, for our lower 48 weather, partly sunny skies in Seattle at 45, same with Vegas at 51. As we look over to the east, Dallas is raining at 42, same with Miami at around 81. Up there in New York, partly sunny skies around 62 degrees. It's going to be cold on our west side of the states next week. Snow for our Midwest mixing in rain as we look over to the east. Chilly up north and warm in the Florida area. All right, back in Alaska, chance of snow in Barrow and Nome, mostly cloudy in Fort Yukon. Barrow's at 1, Fort Yukon 11, and Nome around 30. For our interior, we can expect partly cloudy across the region tomorrow. 12 for Fairbanks, 20 in Delta, and 27 in Healy. On our east side of the state, chance of rain in Juneau, partly cloudy in Ketchikan, 41 in Juneau, 43 Ketchikan. On our west side of the state, partly sunny in Bethel, rain and snow for Cold Bay, scattered showers for Kodiak, temperatures around 41 for Cold Bay and Kodiak, around 30 for Bethel. Now lastly, for our south central region, mostly cloudy skies for Anchorage and Homer, rain and snow in Valdez, and temperatures around 36 for Anchorage and Valdez and 42 in Homer. For tonight's forecast, 7 degrees, mostly cloudy. And for tomorrow, about 12, partly cloudy. And we're not going to quite make it there to 60, Mike, but we're going to have temperatures between 10 and 5 up until Thursday. And then for nightly temperatures around 5 below, not too bad for this time of year.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've already seen colder temperatures already this year, so this feels warm as is.
Yeah, it's not too bad, and everything's gonna change around solstice, my birthday time, 22nd.
A great gift of more light.
And more warmth.
Exactly.
All right, well, that'll wrap up this Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night and a good weekend.